Yeah, I was literally in the airport working, and I saw somebody tag me in the chat, and I was like, "Fuck, I never miss calls." So yeah, I wanted to hop on a little bit earlier to make up for that. But how we guys doing? Y'all doing good? Having a great week? I hope so. Since I'm here a little bit early, I want to make sure I can actually get to like everybody. I think for today we have a total, gonna try to get to everyone. We have 12 people that filled out the form. So anybody who's here right now, I can give you some time and give you some feedback. Tom, I saw you submitted one for today. Who else is here that also submitted? Noah. Yep, I see yours, Noah. Nils, I see you. I can drop the form for you. It's all inside of inside of school. How do I even how do I really share this? Okay, this should be it. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I'll go one by one and yeah, just kind of cook with you guys here. Have a good time. So we're gonna try to go. That's all right. No, you can give me the details when we move to it. Um, is Andrew here? Andrew, not. I don't think he's here quite yet. So that means Noah. We'll actually go with you first, dude. So let me grab your stuff here and I'm trying to figure out the best way to share this because every time I go to my Google form, every time I go to my stupid Google form, I have to scroll through everybody to actually get to one individual person and it doesn't reset after each call. So I have to scroll through like 35 people and it takes forever. So let's see if this works. No, that looks like shit. Let's try. Nope, that also looks like shit. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna have to do it this way. Nope, that also looks like shit. All right, there we go. All right, Noah, let's see it. So let me start here first. I'm running ads where 5 ad sets initially saw 4 to 7 ROAS at 20 euros a day each. I first tried scaling with the CBO using the same post IDs at a higher budget, but it didn't work. Okay, following my mentor's advice, I switched to scaling vertically, increase the budget per ad set gradually. Since then, the sales have dropped drastically across all ad sets and performance have been struggling for the past week. How can I fix this and scale properly? So I haven't even looked at your data yet, dude, but I'm guessing what happened is you probably prematurely put these ads into a scaling campaign and tried to scale them because I don't know how much you spent here. And also, anytime that I'm moving, you said the ad sets themselves were at 4 to 7x ROAS, which is great. But you can't put, there's no such thing as like an ad set post ID. There's only ad post ID. So did you put every individual ad in the ad set across all 5 ad sets into a CBO? Yeah, that's that's probably going to be too much. Now with these ad sets, like give me some specific numbers when you did this because I know things have changed. So 5 ad sets initially at 4 to 7 ROAS at 20 euros a day each. How much spend was there in, let's say, ad set level first? Because if it's 20 euros a day, dude, it could not have been that much spend. Um, when I'm moving my creatives and my ads, whatever time frame you sent me here, whatever matches this data. Because when I'm moving, this is a good lesson for everybody because you don't want to. I know when you get like that initial almost kind of like winning ad or winning creative winning ad set, you want to scale it, but you want to make sure it's legitimately a winner first because it could be the case where you're just early. Like you have 3 sales, 3 customers, 5 customers, and everything looks super duper profitable. But it hasn't spent a lot of money. And if you try to force that budget onto it before it's really proven itself, you could have pushed a creative or an ad set into a scaling campaign when it wasn't really ready. And not even like it wasn't really ready because I don't believe in that quite as much, but it's more so it didn't reveal itself as a winner yet. So if that's 300 to 400 each ad set, um, that's probably like how much is that per creative? And either way, dude, I don't move ad sets into CBOs to scale them. I move creatives because if you have an ad set with 5 creatives in there, typically you're going to have 1 to 2 that is cannibalizing all the others, both in terms of spend and in terms of profitability. So what you really want to do, oh, was creatives. Okay, good. So this is not ad sets, it's creatives. That actually makes me feel better. Okay. So in any case, if it's 300 to 400 bucks per creative, it was probably a little premature. I probably would have waited till $500. And but this is still interesting. It's not terrible. So you had 5 creatives. Just make sure I understand. Okay, cool. So you had 5 creatives that were all at a 4 to 7x ROAS that had all spent at least $300. You moved them all into a CBO using post IDs. You kept it completely broad. Same market, same audience, obviously. I'm guessing that was just broad. And it didn't work. How much did you set the budget at for the CBO? 100? Maybe a little bit low. How bad was the performance really? And did you make any cuts at the ad level? It's actually probably a good thing for me to explain for everybody here. Okay, so it was 0 for 8. Did you get no sales whatsoever? $100 CPA. Okay, so let's say you have 2 campaigns. You have a testing campaign and a scaling campaign. You did most of this relatively correctly, meaning you have, this is obviously the ad sets. I don't know how to write that. There's the ad set. This is the campaign level. Shit. Um, you did most things correct here, where you were testing everything inside of a ABO or CBO. You moved the individual creatives into the scaling campaign. So let's say, you moved, why is this being so fucking slow? There we go. Okay, so you moved individual creatives basically from here into here, and you said you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's wait, is that in the CBO? Is that in the CBO or in your original campaign? Okay, well, shit, I don't know how much more I need to explain here. What I was trying to say is that, um, yeah, okay. Noah did most things right when it comes to this structure. So this is kind of like method number one. This is what I was running for a long time, and I still do run every once in a while. My account is way different or my main account that I'm running right now is way different than your guys's because I test so many more variables, and so the structure looks a little bit different for consolidation purposes. But this is kind of like strategy number one. You get stuff in a creative testing campaign. You're testing concepts at the ad set level. You find a few winning creatives. You draw those out, take the post IDs, put them into a scaling campaign, CBO, one ad set. I wouldn't set this lower than probably like 300 to 500 bucks per day if it were me. I know it's like a little bit scary, but you can cut this on like the first day, depending on the performance. But I'm also what I was trying to explain is I'm actively making cuts at the ad level and I'm watching it very closely. So if I schedule this at like 500 bucks per day and I see within $100 to spend, all the spend is going to this one creative and this creative has 0 sales. It's now way past my KPI. I can cut that entire creative. I can cut that entire ad, and Facebook is going to adjust and start moving spend to one of these other creatives. And sometimes it happens that you have one creative just like totally cannibalize it, get all of the spend, and it sucks. And then you cut that one and it starts to reallocate the spend amongst these other four. And then you see the performance start to really pick up. You start to see profitable ads. The overall campaign is going to be low because of this initial first ad, but over time it'll start improving because you reallocate the spend from that one creative to these others. In any case, I would do at least $500. For me, I would say at least $500 in spend at a profitable ROAS, ideally at least like 30%, 40% above your break even return on ad spend. And yeah, so that this is all strategy one. So this is what you tested and it didn't really work out very well. There's like a few small things I maybe would have done a little bit differently, like maybe let the ad spend just a little bit more, but that doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of ways to skin a cow or whatever. Strategy number two is basically what you're doing right now. You just probably aren't super conscious of it, which is being able to being able to scale everything inside of one CBO. This is low key a really solid strategy because it's very, very consolidated, and Facebook oftentimes does better with more consolidated structures. But you have here one CBO, which is not even, you do your creative testing in here, but you can also do your scaling in here. This is how I run my account for most of the campaigns because I do, main reason I say like my stuff is different is because I am really, really heavy on funnel testing specifically. And with funnel testing, you can't have a creative testing campaign and a scaling campaign because if you do, your account becomes massive. Like if I'm testing 10 funnels at once, that means I need two campaigns per funnel. That's immediately 20 campaigns. That's not including retargeting. That's not including day parting. That's not including bid caps. That's like just a base structure. And that's already a bloated fucking account. So, um, strategy number two is to do everything within one CBO. So that means you initially have like, your creative testing ad sets in here. Let's say you have like three of them. Actually, are you running CBO or ABO? Remind me on that original campaign. Because you can do both. I would actually okay, ABO. So that makes it very easy. So with ABO, let's just say is actually ABO. So these are all fixed budgets at the ad set level. Then just scaling 20% per day at the ad set level is a good strategy for profitable ad sets. You do in this case, you can still make cuts at the ad level. Like if you have an ad that's spending and it falls out of your KPI, last 3 days plus today, and it has like a sufficient amount of spend, then that would be something that I would cut at the ad level. So like you can still always make cuts actively here. In terms of scaling the ABO, it's it's literally just the most basic vertical scaling you could possibly do. I scale it daily because what I found is internally scaling budgets more than 20%, unless you're surf scaling, oftentimes destabilize the performance of that individual ad set. So if you have an ad set here that's at like, I don't know, $50 a day, and it performs really well on one day, let's say it's at like a 2.5 ROAS, I would bump that budget the very next day by 20% and try to do it early in the day. You don't want to scale your budgets in the middle of the day because that's when you're getting all of your sales. Try to do it as early as possible. I would say like around like 5 to 7 a.m. Before like a good amount of time before whatever your like hot hours are, because I have a lot of hours throughout the day where a lot of the sales are concentrated between a specific, period of time. So you want to do it a good amount of time before that. And you can scale 20% per day every day that is profitable. So if it's like if it's something like this and Monday, let's say you have a really good day, you're at like 2.5x ROAS for that particular ad set, bump the budget 20%. Next day, it drops to like 1.4. Let's say that's your break even. Don't scale. Next day, it's back to like 2.2, scale. Next day, it's back to like 2.7, scale, and it's 20%, 20%, 20%, compounding. So not 20% on the original value, but of the most recent value. So that means you'll go from like, yeah, daily time frame. So that means you go from like $50 a day to $60 a day, $60 a day to like whatever 20% of 60 is, I think like 72, and then from 72 to 72 to 86, and you just kind of do 20% per day, across the board on every single ad set that is done that way. And you definitely want to judge it at the ad set level because you're running an ABO, dude. You're running an ABO and you're still doing creative testing in there. Like, don't stop the creative testing for sure. And since all of this is done at the ad set level, all your media buying and an ABO is done at the ad set level in general. Like, I don't care a whole lot about campaign level performance in an ABO because all the budgets are controlled at the ad set level anyways. I didn't really look at your data, bro, but that did that answer all the questions? Are there any other questions you have? Another thing I have, one ad that exploded in a bid cap campaign, you recommend to transfer the ad post ID to the original campaign. Is that ad already in the original campaign? If it's already in there, I wouldn't re-add it. Did you do like testing in a bid cap or something? If that's the case, I would, yeah, dude, add it in. Add it in. I probably would not add it into an existing ad set unless you have like a scaling ad set in there, which I don't think that you do. But yeah, you can definitely add it in. It would just be one ad in an ad set in there, but if it's really a good ad, it'll still perform. Yeah, new ad set. Any other questions for you, Noah? That's hilarious. 28 ROAS. How much spend? Oh, well, dude, I'd let it spend a little bit more. 30 bucks is nothing. I would let it spend at least like 200 bucks. That is a crazy ROAS. So, okay, Fabian, are you here? Fabian, my man, what's good? All right. At what point of daily spend is it good to have bid caps? Mm, I think around like $1,000 a day, you can start and spend. You can start introducing bid caps. But I have accounts that are spending like 40K per day, and we don't do a lot of bid caps, and we're just fine. So it's definitely not like a silver bullet as much as a lot of people do want to say it. It depends on a lot of different variables, your market, your ad account, your learning, all these different things. Okay, Fabian. Hey, Mark, this is my first test for this product. How do you think I can improve my add to cart rate since it's really bad right now? What other issues do you currently see? Also be interesting to hear what types of ads you'd run for this specific product. These are all the active ads I have right now, with only the native ads having generated the sales. I mean, read the data, number one. So stick to native ads. Those are obviously the best. I, man, I'll be honest with you guys. I've spent so much fucking money on native ads. You have no idea. And I've spent a lot of money on image ads in general. Not always, I would say about 90% of the time, I see the legitimate textbook natives perform better than like these natives with the product actually included. Every once in a while, which would be like that additional 10%. I see if you do throw in the product, you have a little hero CTA or benefit statement that it can improve things and you can find a winner, but that's like 10% of the time. 90%, it's literally just the stupid basic native static. So until you're at like a much more sufficient level of spend, I would focus on just that and having fire fucking ad copy. So you're running how to improve your add to cart rate. Before I look at that, let me make sure everything here is within check. 15% add to cart rate, 5% unique CTR is beautiful. $1.19 CPC, $65 CPMs. Dude, this is a tough niche, but so much money to be made in this niche. So that's usually how it goes. Big three, $79 price point, $674 in sales, seven sales, $66 CPA. Roughly a 2% conversion rate, $96 AOV. Great work on the AOV, man. 3% add to cart rate, 58% add to cart to purchase, 1.45 ROAS, 1.5 break even. Okay, so this is not bad. And remember, guys, to anybody running native statics, don't view things as like view things in context of one another. What I mean by that is if you look at this, you could be like, okay, clearly my only constraint is my add to cart rate. It's not necessarily true because the quality of traffic that you're getting from the native ads significantly impacts your conversion rate on your funnel. So I need to look at the data here and also look at your messaging on the ads, specifically these ads, and make sure that the messaging is actually matching and selling the product enough by the time that people actually get here. Okay, so you're running to advertorial. What is your CTR here? Pretty decent length advertorial. Relatively solution aware, which is great. So you should be getting pretty qualified traffic once they click through. Okay, good to know. So once they click through the advertorial, should be relatively qualified traffic. Let's make sure there's no like sticky add to cart or anything. There's not. Okay. I would definitely be curious if you can find it, dude. If you can find uh what your advertorial CTRs. Another message to everybody running native statics. Your advertorial plays a big fucking role. Very big role in your conversion rate. So I can look at your add to cart rate, no problem, but I'm guessing most of you guys have relatively solid PDPs. So typically, to anybody running pre-landers, the more important page is going to be the pre-lander itself, in this case, an advertorial. Like this is a pretty solid PDP. I mean, dude, it's super risky. Well, it's not. It's relatively risky, but I'll tell you right now, if you haven't tested it before and after, I mean, that's like textbook, textbook native statics. It's also probably one of the most aggressive ones you can do because it's a visual difference and it's skin related. But that'll probably be your top performing. Yeah, try it without. Try it without. That'll probably be your top performing static. So take this one because I'm guessing this one is your top performer right now and turn it into a before and after. That alone will probably, yeah, still the long copy. Keep everything else the same. I haven't read the copy yet. I was just going through these. Um, I think with your cost of traffic, dude, if you get your add to cart rate up to like 6%, 7%, that should be um that should be enough to boost your conversion rate in your ROAS up to like a 2x. Like it doesn't need to be a 10% add to cart rate when you're running native statics. In fact, that's very rare. I think, dude, it's probably going to be from yeah, you got to have some better before and afters here. Before and afters are so powerful. It's the second page in your funnel, so it's not quite as aggressive. More of these. Okay, you do have more. Good. Yeah, ones like this, super dramatic. I would try to have the same, like this one I didn't love because it doesn't even look like the same person. I would try to have the same kind of background as much as possible. Keep everything the same except for the thing that's actually changing, in this case, the skin. But your PDP is really relatively solid. In fact, I bet your add to cart rate once they land on this page is pretty decent. I don't I don't love this part. It takes up a lot of space. Also, another thing you want to look at, dude, is this is not being sold on subscription, right? I'm guessing. I don't think that would really make any sense. So anytime you use the word trial, a lot of times people associate trial with subscription. Like just the word association alone. I'll do some research on your market and see if they believe that, but I know for a fact, one of the brands I run, it is definitely true. Everything else there looks good. What I would prioritize is this advertorial. I think this advertorial can definitely be better. Advertorial is, I'd give it probably like a 7.9 to an 8.2 out of 10. The headline is missing some things. The sub headline is quite good. So you have the without the cream, scrubs, anything else you've already failed you. Let's say instead of just in only 10 minutes a day, and it only takes you 10 minutes a day. It's good, good image. I mean, it's super, super proven advertorial structure, especially for this market. So I think one thing you're missing here is the introduction of the authority figure, bro. You want to create that connection. People don't want to read an article from a business. They want to hear from Sarah Whitfield, And there was never a point here. This is essentially your lead, but when do you actually introduce the authority figure here? Because I don't see it at all. Yeah, so people are always going to like, why is influencer marketing so powerful? Why did it blow up? Why did UGC blow up? Because people don't want to buy from businesses, they want to buy from people. And right now, this is good, but you never leverage that. There's still it just still feels like an article that's written by a business, not by an individual that actually wants to buy. Let's look at the sales argument real quick and then I'll move on. But actually, let me focus on what's most important here. This headline, you're missing a few things, dude. If you know, I've made this list of a bunch of different things that a headline should have, like specificity, calling out the pain point, promising solution, credibility, addressing skepticism, all 7 things. This seems a little contradictory. So I'll walk you guys through a process that one of my mentors, copywriting mentors, taught me called copy thinking. And it's almost like a chiefing process, but you want to think through your headline logically to make sure there's no contradictions, there's full resonance with the market. Here we see French discovery, and then we see used for 40 years. If it's a new discovery, how could it have been used for 40 years? Immediately, that seems contradictory. You want to make sure the market as well matches, like it should be a high value market via the association. So, for example, if you're selling like a health product, what is like the center of health in the world? I would say French maybe up there. I would probably move more towards like Switzerland being like kind of the European hub for health related things. And it just is going to sound better, like Swiss discovery versus Switzerland discovery, something like that. And the French and European is, I don't think that's quite contradictory, but again, I think this section you can definitely pack a better punch here. There's no outcome. You don't hear an outcome in general. It's just to treat cellulite. That's not the outcome. They're not buying your product to treat cellulite. They're buying their product for a much deeper, deep-rooted, deep-seated emotional payoff so that they don't have to look in the mirror and dislike what they see. They don't want to have the insecurity associated with having cellulite. They don't want to have the insecurity associated with feeling like they're getting old. So you're too surface level here. You're not going deep enough into the real reason that most women are going to be buying this product. That is at the heart of every sale that you're ever going to make. You got to go deeper. You got to go deeper into the emotions, into the psychology, because right now, I don't want to say this is surface level because this isn't a terrible headline, but in order to take it from like a 7 or an 8 to a 10, you got to go deeper. Subheadline is really pretty good. I would just make this adjustment here. And there should also be some core, like central core emotion that you leverage in the headline. for this market, I don't know exactly what it would be. I feel like, for example, one of these could be it's almost like a core emotion of like justice. Like these women have been lied to. They've been manipulated by marketers. They've been sold every product under the sun. They've bought most of these products already. And guess what? They haven't worked. Why is this one going to be different? So the fact that they've been using this for 40 years to treat cellulite almost is not able to be reconciled with the fact that they've already tried so much stuff. If it's been used for 40 years, they've probably already heard of it, right? One of the things you should aim to have in your headline is novelty, having something that is new. That is such a powerful, powerful thing, especially, I mean, just in humans in general, dude. Like people flock to buy every single new iPhone, even when the only thing that they did is add another fucking camera lens. It's the same fucking thing. The $2.8 billion lie. Why every cream, scrub, and wrap you've ever bought was physically incapable of treating your cellulite and the French discovery. That's definitely better. You're in the right direction there. Ultimately, this is still going to come down to testing. I would rewatch or somebody shared it in the chat, the seven things for a headline and do some experimenting there. And again, you want to take big swings. So I wouldn't just split test a headline and a subheadline. Split test the whole fucking thing. Because if you change the entire story, thank you, Nils. If you change the headline, then you need to change a lot of the story as well. So that's all the feedback I have for you, bro. Hopefully that was helpful. But I don't know where your advertorial CTR is, as I said, but it's such a big needle mover, guys. Like I have seen people go from unprofitable to profitable. They didn't touch their PDP. They didn't even touch it. Again, same language like the trial here. Make sure you match all the research that's done in the foundational docs with all the copy that's written here. You can use Claude for that. You can use Gemini for that and just have it go through and analyze every incongruency. And that alone will probably make you convert better. And then make sure you have the data on the conversion rate too. But click through rate, same thing. All right, let's move on. Is Nate here? No. Okay. Chasten's here. Are you here? He's here. Yo. All right, cool. All right, campaign started off well at above a 2x ROAS for the first 3 days. Then I hit a bad day where I decided to make an above the fold change. That was a mistake. Please don't touch anything that has traffic running to the first page. Don't touch it unless you want to see your results tank. This has been true since the dawn of the Facebook pixel. Facebook doesn't like you changing stuff after you already have active ads running to it. I'm having conversion rate as well as added card issues. I'm guessing ads are the culprit here. I'm not sure if I'm pre-qualifying them enough or giving the product more context to the ad copy kind of brief. Well, your thought process is exactly right. So good thinking there. We can definitely diagnose that. Would love to hear your thoughts on Lander my ads. Also, when testing ads, how much do I need to be increasing spend within the campaign for a new ad set? I'd like to be testing 20 new ads a day. How much are you spending? 1,000 in 7 days. You don't need to be testing 20 ads a day. You don't even have the budget to be testing 20 ads a day at this level of spend. I don't know what your budget is, but at this level of ad spend, 20 ads a day is probably going to cost you more than it'll make you. I'd focus on quality at this stage, unless you have the budget to just test a shitload of ads, but you're not even like you're not even going to give them enough amount of spend to be able to know if they're winners or not. So instead, I would probably aim for testing 20 new ads a day at this. That is crazy. Probably five, probably roughly five per day, five really solid ones. Basically like one net new concept per day, and then like four variations of that net new concept. So in terms of increasing spend, are you testing in a CBO or ABO? Okay. Yeah, that was a dumb question. My bad. Um, what is the budget at? So let's say if you launch one new ad set per day, I would try to have at least $10 per ad in the ad set. So if you launch an ad set with five ads, that'd be $50 per day that needs to be added to the total campaign budget. And make sure you set up the spending limits as well so that it actually does get at least $50 a day per spend, $50 per day of spend. I personally set that at my level at $50 per ad. So if I'm launching a new ad set with five creatives, it's a minimum of $250 per day. But at your level of spend, I think $10 per ad is totally fine. One last thing, how do you know whether the changes you make are the result of a specific change or just found inconsistencies of Facebook at low ad spend? And do you recommend increasing spend to get data quicker, scale faster if possible? It depends how good, I'll answer this one first, depends how good your data is. If you're getting like a little bit of promising signals, like a few creatives that are doing really well, a few ad sets, a few landers, then you can definitely spend faster. There's relatively few downsides to just acquiring data faster and spending a little bit more. The only downside is if there is one of those like wild days where just everybody's ads are kind of down and you happen to launch something bigger on that day, then the test wasn't really a fair test, but it doesn't happen as often as people think. Inconsistencies are relatively like just part of the game at low levels of spend, and you just have to allow some time to go by. Okay, back to your main question, conversion rate and add to cart issues. Let's take a look. So let's open this and then let me look at data. Can you send me like the ads library link or something? Because I can't open those. Not the preview link, but the actual like ad library link or something. All right, so we had a 1K in spend over the last 7 days. 12% CTR all, 7.3% CTR link. That is just phenomenal, dude. Wow. That actually may not be correct. Because at $53 CPM, 7.3% CTR. I don't know. Maybe that's right. I feel like it should be maybe a little bit lower. Anyways, let's say it's right. Unless somebody wants to double check my math there. $40 product, 1,600 revenue, 36 sales, $31 CPA. Conversion rate 3%. I mean, okay, so 3% probably is a little bit low for $40 product. Your AOV is 44. So yeah, you're probably gonna have to bump that up to a 4% conversion rate to really be where you want to be. You're at 5% add to cart rate. Someone said the math doesn't work out for CPC. I had a feeling. So we'll have to. Oh, CTR is 5%. Okay, thank you. Phenomenal add to cart to purchase rate. 1.4 ROAS, 1.2 break even. Really good break even as well. All right. Let's see. Is this your top ad here? Sick. Okay. So nothing, this is interesting because nothing is like horrible. Your CPC is just about within KPI. I think for this market, $1.22 is really pretty solid. Your AOV could totally be higher. We'll take a look at the offer, maybe see there's something we can do there. You're just about, I mean, you're profitable by a small margin. We obviously want to get that up. The add to cart rate is likely the biggest constraint here because the 3% conversion rate is technically within KPI. It's typically 3, but you're only selling a $40 product, which means you probably got to bump this up to 4%. Biggest constraint is probably going to be add to cart rate. We can look at the lander. In other words, that's got to be something with the ads. So let's take a look. Okay. So, Chaston, your ad copy sucks. No, it doesn't suck, dude. Actually, your numbers look pretty decent. But the issue is you're likely not selling enough here. Yeah, that's great. That doesn't mean it's ad copy. All right, anytime you're selling a health gadget like this one, you got to include some gifts, man. I don't see any gifts on here. The reason why I say that that is so important is this is where most people are going to leave. So they look at this page, this is where they decide to stay or leave. This is the above the fold section. It's why it's the most important section. The first thing people do is look at this image and then they scroll. And if they feel compelled, then they'll scroll vertically. Scroll horizontally first, typically look at the images, and then they scroll vertically. For me, the first thing that I feel is confusion, and a confused mind doesn't buy. I don't understand how this product works at all based off this image. It looks like there's some sort of like device here. There's this visual is just like hard for me to understand. Um, this L is upside down. I don't know if that's intentional. That's the main thing immediately is it's just not clear. It's not clear. I would put some gifts up here. Yeah, for sure. Doesn't have to be the very first one, but I would, if not the first, put it as a second or third. And I would also put gifts on like all this. There should 100% be a GIF here. 100%. Like this is the how it works section. If I don't understand how it works under the how it works section, something is wrong. And your market is going to be like 10 times as old as me. So if I don't understand it, there's no way in hell that they're going to understand it. Um, with this market, it's also important a good way to make GIFs, I mean, create images with AI and then do image to video on Kling 3 or on Veo 3.1 inside of Higgsfield, and then just do MP4 to GIF and compress the GIF so that it doesn't massively weigh down your page because GIFs can be really heavy. So that's the first thing. I actually think this lander could use some good work. These images I don't think are great. Any product um that has some sort of tech to it where you can't look at it and know how it works, I would recommend using GIFs. GIFs are fantastic vehicles for selling stuff. Now, your ad is a problem in and of itself too. Um, I'll be honest, I'm pretty shocked your data actually looks this good. Could like even a 5% CTR. I don't think this maybe you have better images. I don't think this image is particularly good. It is the image is direct, but the ad copy, just because it's an Amazon review, doesn't mean it's good ad copy. That's what I said. That's what I meant when I said, yeah, that's great earlier. Now, is this a good um it's actually a fantastic strategy that I've spoken about a few times for getting ideas for hooks for your ads is to go on Amazon reviews and take like the first sentence of the most emotional reviews that you can find, which is what you did, but then write your own ad copy. You don't have to use the entire review. People that write reviews on Amazon are not copywriters, so you shouldn't treat them that way. Now, is there gold in here? 100%. The fact that they tried to push narcotics, um, it's never been this bad. I did research, heat and cool. Like the ingredients are there. The copy's not, if that makes sense. So that's what I have for you, bro. Hopefully that was helpful. I think you can definitely do some better native static creative so as well. All right, Alex, you got it, man. All right. It's 2 weeks of work. Last time you told me to test extra block Spanish speaking markets, I did. I rewrote the old winning advertorial into an improved advertorial. Like you said, started being the OG consistently. So yesterday I made all my traffic flow through it. Nice. Very nice. Ship new ads, all native static, couple ad sets, put up crazy soft metrics. 1 cent CPC. Yeah, you got to be a little careful with this market, bro. Alex, you're here, right? I saw you in the chat, I think. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, you want to be a little crazy with the soft metrics because you're running in Spanish speaking markets. So everything needs to be taken into consideration. This has happened to me a few times as well. And it actually kind of it fucked up my pixel, but I was running a shitload of traffic, like spending a lot of money. So you literally have a 1 cent CPC. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a Spanish speaking market and you're running native statics, which traditionally have really, really good soft metrics, but that's kind of funny. As soon as more traffic hit the improved advertorial, conversion started picking up, but it's still not where I want it. The thing eating me, my traffic is this cheap and still not converting. My plan this week was to ship more ads with new angles, build more advertorials, covering different awareness and sophistication levels, and possibly test a brand new product page. I also just finished the health tracking app and I'm planning to offer it for free gift. Nice. If you're in my account looking at the data, my ads, my lander was one thing you shipped this week, one thing you wouldn't touch. Why those two? Okay, so 3K in spend. And this is like 100% Spanish speaking traffic now, right? Is it only Mexico or did you target Spanish speakers in the US? I think you started by testing a few different countries and Mexico was your top performer, right? If I remember correctly. Good, good. All right, 3.3K revenue, 39 sales, $70 CPA. Yeah, conversion rate, dude, it's gonna be like you can still look at it. The numbers are gonna look shit. So fucking shit. But it doesn't matter because your traffic is so incredibly cheap. $85 AOV, 1% at the cart rate, at the cart to purchase, at the cart to purchase 36, 1 ROAS, 1.4 break even. I mean, just the fact that you're running everything now to the new advertorial is probably alone going to help improve your results here. Um, I have a lot of similar feedback that I just gave to Chaston. No, not to Chaston, to Fabian, I think. And it's just going to be doing a lot of testing with the advertorials. I actually think your ads are really I think they're pretty solid. I know you understand ads pretty well is what I'm trying to say here, but likely where I would put my time is testing a lot of different advertorials and funnels. I don't really love this section here on the PDP. Is it going to be a big needle mover? Probably not. The reason I don't like it is because there's so much text and so few images. So you probably have definitely some drop off there. Lewis, what would you say about re-engineering the classic DR headlines as hooks? 100%. Um, Matter of fact, I don't know if you tested this, Alexander, but the probably one of the most famous Alex, one of the most famous. Okay, I have more feedback on this. One of the most famous direct response headlines of all time is they all laughed when I sat down at the piano, dot dot dot, but when I started to play. they all laughed at me when XYZ, but when they saw me ABC, something like that. Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Another piece of feedback here on the actual advertorial, bro. This is your above the fold section. Look at how much text this looks like. Ton of text here, incredibly long subheadline. And then if you scroll down, only then do you see the image. And the image is, I think, like some holding fat. Um, what I would recommend is actually having probably a before and after as like the first image if you can. You gotta have something that's a little bit more transformational. This would be cool as an ad, but I think it's not doing a lot in terms of selling because typically you want to take a similar approach to like native statics. You either want to show the super duper nightmare scenario, which is like a really, really overweight dude. You want to show the outcome, so like the goal outcome of this jacked, masculine dude, or you want to show the transformation, which is by far the most powerful one because you see the before and the after. That's why before and after is so powerful because it's a transformation. Yeah, something like this can also work really well. Also, keep in mind, dude, with the advertorials, when you test new structures, again, test, take big swings right now, bro. When it comes to you making this shit work, I would highly recommend taking big swings, which is going to be if you test a new advertorial, new headline, new subheadline, new design, new images, basically new everything. And it doesn't have to be a new angle, even. I actually think that the angle that you're using right now is relatively solid. It's going to be a lot more so, yeah, just complete new advertorials. I think probably not a super popular opinion. I think obsessing over angles is a little overrated. And a lot of times you just need to write better copy and have better landers for your existing angle. I think there's a lot more that you can squeeze out of an angle than people realize. Like if you're spending like $1,000 a day or 500 bucks a day, you're like, oh, I think I saturate this angle. You have no idea how big those angles really are. You didn't saturate the angle. It was the creative. Only when you spent like millions of dollars on an angle, depending on how big it is, of course, is it really saturated. That's my opinion. That doesn't really apply to you guys yet because, um, yeah, that's just my opinion. How many would you test a week? Depends on your budget, dude. I would say if you can test 3 to 5 this week, that'd be huge. I would say aim for 3. Try to test 3. And you can always go to yeah, you can always go to like weather.com and look at the top performing advertorials at any point in time. Also, is that in English? The entire thing is in Spanish and then the graphic is in English. Definitely got to fix that. You need more transformation in here, man. You need more transformation before and after images, 100%. Also, this is a very small thing, but I think small things add up a lot. You're selling to the Mexican market. Does this guy look Mexican to you? Does this These look like the most American motherfuckers I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah, yeah. You get the idea though. I was looking at that on your PDP actually, and I felt like they actually did all kind of match the market relatively well. Yeah, maybe not. Some of them, yes, some of them, no. All right. Well, to answer your last question, it would probably be the landers, truthfully. I'm gonna post a video one of these days. I think tomorrow. Actually, let me show this to you guys. This would be a nice little thing. Let me get it looking right first. Okay. So I believe the funnel, if creatives are king, the funnel is the multiplier. And every time you test a creative, I view it as every creative is like a little ship on the ocean. And your funnel is like the sea level. And you know that whole metaphor of like a rising tide raises all ships. If this is kind of your creative cadence, like you have some that are pretty unprofitable, you have some in the middle of the pack, and some that are really profitable, anytime you make your funnel better, it's going to increase not only your overall ROAS, but it's going to increase the baseline of every individual creative in your account. It's going to make it easier to find winners. It's going to lower your overall blended CPA. So as I make the funnel better, you can see the overall account ROAS increase substantially. You're way above like your target profit level. And the more that you make the funnel better, it both de increases your floor of how bad your creatives are and increases your ceiling of how good your creatives are. So in the same way that if you have a really, really poor funnel, everything is just going to look super duper shit. So that is what I take away. Yeah, that'll be in the new course as well. All right, Diogo, you're up. Currently testing a new product. I know for a fact my ads suck. All the soft KPIs suck for a pet niche. I'm working on more native ads since my first ad test, but I still didn't find the message I'm looking for. I'm far away from. Feel kind of lost. I'll be testing more, but want to know your opinion. Okay, 223 in spend, 18% CTR all, 4% CTR link. So running native static. Dollar 76 CPC in the top five is definitely too high. You got to get that CTR link up. Oh, okay. So 22% CTR all. What CTR link is this? You put 160. Is it 16? Diogo? What was your actual CTR? Let me know. Dollar 67 CPC. Yeah, same story. Like it's still too high for sure for the top five. It should be approaching a dollar. Like in the pet niche, I think it should be close to a dollar. $45 price point, one sale, 0.6% conversion rate. 3.78% CTR link. Definitely a constraint there immediately. Add a cart ratio 80%. Um, what? I don't think it was actually 80%, dude. Actually, I know it wasn't. 0.7 ROS, 1.32 break even. Okay. Jesus. Okay, so dude, I honestly like the biggest piece of feedback I have for you, man, is everything is so confusing. I really there's so many things missing from like the copy ingredients standpoint, as I like to call them. Like the real unique mechanism of the problem is not there. There's no mechanism of the solution. This is not a mechanism. This is the product, and the product name is confusing. Like even a good rule for knowing a good mechanism is you can just say the mechanism or the product and you immediately understand how it worked and how it's different. That's not the case here, and that's a problem. Um, the problem in the actual story, the problem in the actual story was also not super clear. I didn't really understand that she was struggling, the dog specifically was like struggling with anxiety because you never said that. You just said like she started drooling, then panting and pacing and vomiting, but I didn't put together the fact that I have a dog, and I didn't put together the fact that this was specifically from anxiety. This kind of helped a little bit. Yeah, overall the story doesn't, like it's missing so much. Also, with this kind of market, dude, you got to go into like why this spray. You already talked about how other sprays are bad, but you never said why yours is good. You kind of like talk shit about calming sprays, I think. Okay, pheromone diffuser, similar thing. You basically talked about exactly what your product is and talk shit about it and then sold them the same thing without making it clear why it's better. I also think that the bandana, I don't know, the bandana in addition to the bandana I'd probably offer as a free gift. And because I always try to sell just one thing. I've tried this so many times. I'm a really, really big believer of selling one thing that solves one specific problem. If you want to include the bandana as a free gift, go for it. But you're not selling a bandana. You're selling the spray. This isn't really explaining how the product actually works either. Like it's really not clear how the product works. Like what is it about the spray that makes them so calm? I saw one thing that says like pheromones, but I'll go into a little bit more depth there. Like the pheromones and the plant essential oils, purified water. And also get clear. I'm guessing you probably already did this, but get clear on the one main area where the anxiety of a dog causes humans the most amount of distress. Is it the car ride? Is it when guests are coming over? Is it for fireworks? Is it for parks? Is it for walks? Whatever it is, I would dial in on that one. I'm guessing you did because you went specifically into the car. But if you didn't, please make sure you do that. I also don't think this is a good creative, bro. I think this is like you're trying to go so high curiosity that you're forgetting to sell the actual product. You're still selling. This is like the most common mistake I see across the board with people running native statics. Is they go too far in the direction of uh of like the hiding the sales process to the point where you still have to sell somebody at the end of the day. And it's a lot easier to take somebody who's going to be a little bit warmer, a little bit farther down the levels of awareness and get them to buy compared to somebody that is just a photo of a doctor. I can't even tell that this is a vet. Yeah, this is a I don't think I know this brand. But yeah, definitely a good one to emulate. Thank you for sharing that, Alexander. But that's all I got for you, bro, at the moment. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish up, but I will be right back. Give me like 2 minutes. All right, what's up, guys? So, uh, McCall, McCall, Mitchell, or Michael? That was misspelled, or a different spelling. No, I don't think so. Okay, Nils. Okay. Hey, Mark Nils here. Continue to make 1, 2 sales per day without going over $100 in spend since I wasn't in KPI to scale. After talking to my coach, I changed my checkout to match my biggest competitor, and since Thursday I had no sales. Today I changed it back to before and 2 sales within an hour. Biggest bottleneck is still CVR. I launched 2 new listicles to compare the one, but the advertorial started to perform better after moving the sticky add to cart or sticky call to action, like you told me. I fixed the advertorial from mobile, made new ads. Don't really know how to fix my abandoned checkouts. Let's see. All right, 1.3K in spend. DTR, TTR. Yeah, okay, good. Solid soft metrics here overall for the top five. Not bad at all. Okay, yep, I remember all this now. Um, hmm Dude, your AOV is so crazy. Even if you get this to like a 2% conversion rate, you're probably going to be at like a 2x ROAS. Um, I want to make sure, like, is it add to cart rate or not? Because your add to cart rate currently is 6.6%. It's not it's not terrible for this price of product. You probably got to get it closer to 8%. Add to cart to purchase is also a little low, but maybe that's because of the price of the product. So let's take a look. Okay, which is your top creative now? Is this first one? This first one here. Dude, I bet if you wrote a hook that was like a good formula is like to please stop, insert common belief. So in this case, it would be like, please stop blaming yourself for a low supply of breast milk. I don't know how they speak, and I'm super not educated on this topic. So I would do something like that and then say, basically make it say like it's not your fault. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with your breast pump. Yeah, that's what you want to do. I bet if you tested that, bro, it would probably kill. Yeah. Oh, nice. You're already doing it. Sick. Overall, dude, I remember this relatively well from last time. You've definitely improved with your overall sales argument. You applied a lot of the feedback and sounds like it's doing marginally better, which is great. Still though, 6.6 at the cart rate. And are you driving most of the traffic to this listicle or to the PDP? And what is performing best out of all of those? Okay. Let's see if I can find that one. Oh, there we go. Okay. What is your CTR here? Do you know? 38%. If I can make a suggestion. Um, from the ads manager. What the hell? I mean, it's probably not accurate, but I think either way, it's probably around like 30 to 40%. If I can make a suggestion, I would actually recommend I'd recommend probably not having the sticky add to cart for check availability and force the consumption. Some of my top advertorials have never crossed 25%. Well, they have crossed, but on average, they were never above 25% CTR. Just to put that in perspective. Some of my best ones. How is that possible? Well, I like writing long advertorials. You tested both. You tried removing the sticky add to cart completely. Wait a minute. You little shit. Oh my goodness. You have a whole section on from Neuro. Is that on desktop too? Come on, man. This entire section is about foot massagers. Well, that'll probably help things. Because that was your entire like guarantee. Oh man, gotta fix that. Gotta fix that. I'd be lying if I said I haven't done that though. That's okay. Or I forget to like change something. That is funny. L's in the chat, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. You already feels bad enough, but I mean that I do think that will help. I have similar feedback. I think I remember your landing page or your PDP is pretty solid. I do not love that background, but everything else I think is great. Oh man, this offer section does look strange though, dude. This does look kind of weird. Like this, the fact that there's two completely different sized offers, and then there's only one free gift, so it's like there's all this unused white space. Yeah, I would definitely clean this section up. Holy shit, this entire section is confusing as fuck, bro. I would just have single and double. That's it. Like if you want to highlight one, that's cool, but having this is costing you this white space. This is almost you're above the fold section. It's a very important space, and you're just wasting white space here, wasting white space here, wasting white space here. And the one free gift is cool, but if it's only one free gift, why is it like here in the middle, wasting all this white space? If anything, just put it in a section at the bottom. And then I mean, what happens if I don't select that? Does it still does it, but it doesn't say like what size, whatever that flange thing is. You said the argument is important? Is it? Or is it just common sense for your market? Your AOV, bro, is 125. People are buying double more than they're buying single. The question is it because of this one little sentence argument, or is it because most women happen to have two breasts? Most of them. I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know. I guess you could test. My point is that you're wasting space on your page. A lot of it. Also not entirely sure. Like if is this something that's necessary? If it's not necessary, I'd probably put it in the cart instead of on the page because you haven't even sold the product yet. Like this is kind of above the fold, brief overview of the product. You got your images. Scroll, offer, add to cart, free gift, little benefits, little drop downs, more little bonuses, upsell. You still haven't sold the product yet. Yeah. That's why it's just a little bit confusing. Like it seems like it should after the offer, you got to go into actually selling it, which would be like this section here. That doesn't look great formatting wise. This is all great. I would take some time looking at competitors for this product, dude. I don't know this market very well, clearly. Um, maybe see if there's something that they're doing that you're not. But overall, I feel like there is a lot of white space that's being wasted here. Okay, good. And other than that, I would test, obviously fix this advertorial. I don't think this image is great because you basically reuse half of it here. I would use this image as the top of funnel or above the fold image. And in addition to that, good. In addition to that, test more advertorials. Same feedback that I've given a few different people on the call. All right. I only got time for one more, guys. Let's see who else is here. Andre, you here? All right, cool. He's here. All right, bro. Wait a minute. You didn't fill any of it out, dude. Time frame 1 p.m. But that wasn't exactly what I mean. Just started. Okay. For these calls, bro, I really try to bias people transparently that have data to look at because as much as I think I'm the coolest, most smartest, intelligent dude in the world, I'm not. And I like to look at data and make sure I reconcile that with everything that you have going on. So until you're at that stage, um, obviously you can keep up with your coach. But for these calls, because I have a limited amount of time and I want to provide value to everybody, I only look at data. Okay. We're going to go with last person being Emil. Um, Massimo, you sent yours the latest out of everybody, so I'm gonna go with Emil here. Yeah, you're good, dude. All good, man. All good. It's good to have you here. Okay. Emil, last 3 days, 80. How's it last 3 days if you've spent $80 and you're spending $60 a day? Okay. 3.3% CTR, 34-cent CPC. Jesus. In the big five? Oh, I remember. Okay, yeah. Okay. But still, you're only, oh man, I really thought you were spending more. Because last time you showed me like I think $500 in spend or something. Did you change your price point? Oh my man, like I don't even know if I should look at this data. Like this is not it's like not a lot of data at all. It's $60 in spend. I know it's frequency going really high in my previous campaigns above 2.5 in 3 days. That's definitely cause for concern at that level of spend. The TAM is too small to scale with the previous avatar. Probably fair. Probably fair. Nice. Okay, I'll review really quickly, dude, but you know me, I like data. Okay, you're selling like a traditional info product, more traditional now. You got to you got to write better copy, dude. This is people don't want a system. Like powerlifters don't give a fuck about a system. They just want to be stronger. So why is that not in the headline? Built for lifters in the first 1 to 2 years. I would not constrain it that way. I'll just sell to powerlifters in general and make it like a science-backed system to get stronger faster. You're going way too deep into the system and not deep enough into what they actually want, which is to get stronger. So copy needs improvement there. Okay, I'm gonna finish up with Massimo, Massimo and Tanner. So I'm going a little bit over. All right, 6.5K, one CBO, one ABO. Just give me your total. Give me your total spend, guys, please. I don't care about the campaigns. 15% ABO, 14% CBO. Christ. Yeah, I mean like in the future, it's fine. I can read it for today, but in the future, just give me like the total data. What the fuck? Nah. Am I missing something? Look, I'll tell you guys right now. All right. If you're getting a, let's just call it 60 cent CPC on average, 60 cents, and your conversion rate is 8%, you would have a lot more than a 2x ROAS. I'll tell you that right now. You'd probably be at a fucking 4 to 5x ROAS. So I'm guessing your advertorial is after the conversion rate is after the advertorial. Okay, that makes more sense. So do you know what it is before the advertorial? And do you also know your advertorial conversion rate? Do you know your advertorial CTR? 25%. Okay, and you got the add to cart button about halfway through, or CTA button about halfway through. I would I would probably test out not having it halfway through. You want to test it on another lander, another slug, completely different URL. Anytime you test stuff that you're sending traffic directly from Facebook to, um, your real conversion rate in that case would probably be around 2%. So 2% conversion rate on what was the AOV here? 45. 2% conversion rate on a $45 AOV, which means your actual add to cart ratio would be probably like 3 to 5% if I'm calculating that correctly. So overall, PDP looks solid. Nothing really shouting out at me here that is bad. Nice. See, this is what I mean with the gifts, guys. Like they just sell so much better, especially with the product that needs an explanation. Any kind of health related something, typically gifts are going to do well. These letters are I would replace these with like either images or gifs because they just don't they just take up space otherwise. Yeah, so it's gonna be mostly testing advertorials, I think, man. And definitely, I would definitely like because this is a solid advertorial. Um, I think an immediate thing you could do is test the average person that's going to be buying this product is going to be probably 55 plus. The size of your font on mobile is 16. Wow. I would bump that up to at least 18, maybe even 20. Headline should also definitely be bigger. The headline is almost the same size as the subheadline. I'd bump that up to at least like 24 pixels. You can keep this at 20 or keep this at, damn, this is 16 too. I'll put this at least 20. This at probably 18 to 20. Make the subheadlines larger. You need a lead also. You jumped right into the body. There's no lead. So you want to build up the problem, tease the solution a little bit more, and then get into the my name is XYZ, which is like the actual body. So I would take you, I never like to touch anything where Facebook is driving all the traffic to, which is this page. So you want to create a new duplicate of this page. You can host it on the same domain, just do a separate slug and make all those changes that I just said, launch it in a new campaign. I would do a CBO because I believe it's your more profitable campaign right now. Um, forgot where it was. Here. Yeah, so CBO is at 2x ROAS. I would push that more, CBO. make all those advertorial changes, and then retest it. And then the headline is solid. One thing I hate about AI copy is changed everything. I don't know why. It just always says the XYZ that changed everything. That's not an outcome. That's very, very vague. And we want specificity. Like I'm a photographer who's too ashamed to show anyone their own feet. Here's how I finally reversed my XYZ. And I would also promise the solution in the subheadline because you're not really doing that right now. And image, you guys are killing it with the images though. These are solid images, really pretty solid. Cool. All right, guys, that's it for today. I gotta run. Talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Peace.